All right, so we're back with the Mark Talks. I'm going to be recapping WWE Evolution. Um, man, this was actually a really, really good pay per view. I came out of this very satisfied. I really enjoyed the matches, and I really enjoyed like the whole setup of it. So when it starts off, there's this big video package that plays, and it's basically showing like little kids, and they're playing with action figures, like the WWE action figures. And it's basically showing that through playing with the figures and watching, the evolution pay-per-view, that they're being inspired to then be the next generation. At least that's what I got from it. If I'm right, who even knows? Stephanie McMahon comes out hyping the show up. Basically, when she came out, huge pop. WWE Universe loves Steph. She starts highlighting the NXT roster and the athleticism of the women in WWE today. I agree with that. She says she's excited for the matches, but Joe Tess asked her, to pick just one if she could. And she says that Jade and Naomi, because of the grudge, and the crowd cheers as in agreement, and they're actually on a podium in the front, kind of like Joe Tess and Jesse Ventura were in Saturday night's main event. So that was a cool feel. So we start off hot with the Intercontinental Champion Becky Lynch facing Bailey and Lyra Valkyria. Um, this so from my notes it says Lyra came out with wings. Quote or parenthesis. I wonder how many of the woos in her theme are piped in parenthesis. Becky got the biggest pop in all the entrances, but they were happy to see Bailey as well. It was a normal three-way. Becky went for some cool double pin in a way that I've never seen before. I couldn't explain how it was done. Lyra was being showcased early in the match, and it was mostly just one out, two in, with three people spots in between that normal pacing for a triple threat. My notes say I'm rooting for Bailey when watching this. I want Bailey to win this match. Um, when I went into the match, I really kind of didn't care who won. I kind of just assumed Becky was going to retain. But then through watching the match, I really, really started to root for Bailey. I wanted her to win the championship this match. Um, Lyra ended up hitting a leg drop from the top rope onto Bailey, who was on top of Becky Lynch in a way, and that led to a "This is awesome" chant. And then right after that, we ended up getting a Bailey got a DDT while Lyra ended up taking an inverted DDT combo from Becky, so two at once, and the audience loved it. Um, I she went for a pin on Bailey. Bailey kicked out. In my notes, I put that the way the crowd's cheering, it sounds like they want Bailey to win. Um, and Becky ended up actually winning it. So that was the first match of that. Then we had a break with some ad placement. The ad placement for the WWE shop. So they do that on, when they have the shows and stuff. And I actually really like that, that they do the sales on show nights and PLE nights. I think it engages the customers, and it, just reminds people thinking, man, I do need that LA Night shirt. Yeah, and then we go back into the arena. We're hitting our audience member shout outs. Ava, the crowd cheers pretty loud for her. People really like Ayla now. She's definitely proved herself as a good GM on NXT. Um, Mark Henry was there. Eddie Guerrero came out. They actually gave her a mic, and she screamed "Excuse me" a lot, to the enjoyment of the crowd and to the burning of my ears. Then we go on to JC Jane and the Juggernaut Jordan Grace. JC Jane came out with the rest of Fatal Influence, while Jordan Grace came out with Blake Monroe. Um, been a big fan of Jordan Grace for a while. I kind of wanted her to win this match. But then again, I don't know. Halfway through the match, I started to not really care who won. Um, because JC Jane, I've actually becoming a big fan of her. I didn't really start watching NXT until a couple months ago, and Yeah, she's actually a really, really great wrestler. I'm glad to see her in more matches because when I was first watching it, she wasn't being featured as much, and I didn't really know much about the group. Um, there was a point in the match when some outside interference, Fallon ended up distracting the ref. While Jordan Grace was in a tie up with JC Jane, Blake Morgan has the NXT title on the outside. And when Jordan Grace comes up to get pushed into the ropes, Blake Morgan hits her with the NXT title, and it looks very purposeful. She has the boo boo face on, like, yeah, I'm not really your teammate, Jordan. The crowd um, didn't like that. Um, so she went ahead and JC Jane got the win due to the interference. Um, Blake Monroe walks into the ring, hands the belt to JC Jane. Doesn't look like she's happy face or boo boo face, and she goes out to walk out of the ring. But right before she hits the ropes and walks all the way out, she gives her pose, and the crowd simultaneously booed and cheered at the same time. You could hear both of them. Then we go back and we hit our audience shout outs. We've got Jazz, and a short thing about that is Bianca Belair posted on social media that when she first started wrestling, um, her and her boyfriend, Montez Ford, would watch hours and hours and hours of Jazz matches to get the feel of how she should be in the ring. So that was pretty cool. Ivory's in the house, rocking the short hairdo. Jacqueline was there. I got excited because when they introduced Ivory, I saw that Jacqueline was sitting right next to her. So that was really cool because, I mean, who doesn't love, all of these legends? And then they cut off to another part of the arena where Maurice is standing there and she was wearing a jean jacket with the Divas logo on the back, and she turned around and pointed it out so that people could see, I guess to expose the evolution where we were at and where we're at now, so that was really cool. Then we're gonna smack right on back down at the podium. We got Steph and Joe Tess. And I'd never really seen like Steph being like a commentator or announcer or anything, but after seeing her with Joe Tess up there, it was yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing her more doing little stuff like that. Um, let's see, I'm just going on my notes right now about just expanding on that point. She says she's talking about the match. She says, "Watch out for the Soul Crusher," and then she adds a caveat that anything can happen in the WWE. So that made me think, maybe there's going to be a surprise about to happen here. So we see the entrances. The Kabuki Warriors come out as a tag team for the first time since Kyrie was injured. The crowd was very excited to see them as well as myself. Asuka, one of my favorite superstars, that is not having that's gender excluded, male or female, just period. Asuka is one of my favorite superstars, wrestlers, whatever. Kyrie Sane, also super awesome. Empress of Tomorrow, Pirate Princess, that's cool as hell. Zari and Sol Ruka make their entrance. Sol grabbed Zaria's shoulders and jumped completely over her. Um, I don't know. I've never seen if they've done that before. I might have missed it if they did, but that was pretty cool. I never paid so much attention to Sol Ruka's theme song before. It was kind of like 1970s surfer. I actually kind of dig it a little bit. I wish I would have paid attention to that before. Then Charlotte makes her entrance. The crowd freaking goes wild as always. She's wearing a really cool shade of purple. In here, I really dig the entrance gear, the pyro. It's always really cool to see her entrances. Then Alexa came out. The crowd went crazier. Charlotte Flair then put her hand up so that Alexa couldn't get by, with all the ring gear, the fluffy stuff coming off of her hands. And so she couldn't get by, so Alexa went under, and then she threw her puppet at Charlotte and then grabbed it back. And then they kind of smiled the way up to the ring. And then once they got inside, Charlotte Flair went for a pose, and then Alexa Flair went in front of her, trying to, like, uh, show her up, when she was doing her pose, to see who can get the crowd going more. But it looked like they were doing it in a way that you can tell that they probably well, not probably, they really like each other in real life, so it's hard for them to act like they hate each other on screen, maybe. Either that or they're just trying to blossom it into the friendship grows back storyline wise. Either way, entrances were cool. And then Raquel and Roxanne came out, and every time I hear the Judgment Day's new theme, I always think, man, I really like this one. I'm not a big fan of rap and hip hop, but I really do like that theme a lot. Uh, the crowd doesn't seem to dislike them as a team much. I didn't really hear many boos. I did put it's funny to see Raquel in Chola mode, the way she's just looking at Roxanne, like, just staring at her like, you better do what I need you to do, or it's going to be bad for you. To start the match, Roxanne and Kyrie came off. Kyrie Sane actually drop kick Roxanne from behind, right early in the match. Roxanne was still looking at Raquel. Um, so then we're just getting a regular match throughout. We're getting the tags and stuff. I didn't really go into a full blown analysis when I was taking my notes because I was just kind of busy watching it. The early segments, the crowd started chanting, "We want Charlotte." During a spot with Zarya and Alexa Bliss, I finally have noticed during this pay per view that the bottom turnbuckle actually has the Walmart logo on it. I did not notice that until then. Um, and then Wade Barrett goes ahead and reminds us that Sol Ruka is now in her third match in 30 days. And I was like, so are they trying to set up like she's tired or something? Wondering what they were doing with that. We'll get to that in a minute. Charlotte Flair ends up getting a hot tag from Alexa Bliss. The crowd goes absolutely insane. Um, they go into a sequence of Charlotte Flair and Raquel Rodriguez. And in my notes, I said, I don't know who's coaching Raquel, but props to them and to her for putting in the work. She's getting so much better and she's working a lot bigger than she ever did before. So that's actually like, she's like as you would expect a huge superstar. I mean, she's super tall. She should work like a big person, and she has been doing that lately, and it's awesome, especially because because Roxanne's got Raquel as far as like the little, you know, the the yin to the yang, you know what I mean? So she can be bigger because she has quite a stature on her. She's, so I'm really liking that. Um, Charlotte actually saved Alexa Flair, or oh my lord, Charlotte Flair saved Alexa Bliss from a spear from Zarya, and Sol Ruka ended up taking the spear. Raquel ended up throwing Alexa over the rope outside. Kyrie ended up saving her pretty well. That's actually what you see in the picture that the WWE website has. Um, and that right there is this is you can't see Kyrie Sane in this picture, but when you see how when Alexa Bliss fell back, that Kyrie really caught her and made sure that she landed pretty safe. So that's awesome. Kyrie Sane is just got such a good wrestler. I really like all the wrestlers in this match. They're all very, very good. Let's see, where did I get at? And then so once that happened, Raquel ended up just pinning Sol Ruka for the win. So they were able to tell the story of 3 matches in 3 days. So Sol Ruka doesn't look bad for getting pinned. And then it doesn't look too bad on Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss for not winning, and the Kabuki Warriors as well, because they kind of just took Raquel just took everybody out, and it actually really worked out really good that way because I know a lot of people going into this match thought, oh, we're going Kabuki Warriors all the way. Um, and then a lot of people thought that Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss, and then it was one of those matches where anybody could have won. Is what my point I'm trying to make is. So after that match goes out, we're gonna hit the audience shout outs again. So we got Tori Wilson, Melina, and Molly Holly. The crowd is super excited to see them, as well as I was happy to see them as well. And then we go into Tiffany Stratton and Trish Trish Stratus. It actually started pretty hot. They went out to the outside for a brawl to start the match. The crowd's chanting, "You still got it," to Trish because she's actually working really well in the ring. Like you can't tell what her age is. Like unless you knew it, you would just be guessing because she moves so well. Um, the sequences continue. Uh, Tiffy hits kind of like a lifting, spinning backbreaker. I'm not sure how to explain it, but neither did the commentators. So, um, after that, Tiffany hits a huge swanton. Um, then she goes for a moonsault, but the knees on Trish Stratus come up, and then Trish Stratus goes for the moonsault, but Tiffany lifts her knees up and hits it. Then shortly after that, Tiffany hits the Alabama Slam onto the world's prettiest moonsault for the win, and she retains. Uh, Michael Cole and says, and I quote, "It is indeed Tiffy time at Evolution." And that was a really good match. Trish Stratus actually got a little extra time in the ring. So after the match ended, what happened was she got up and she was still, hurting from, her stomach. She was still holding her stomach, but she was going around to the rest of the rest of the sides of the ring and doing her signature pose, and the crowd was happy to see her. And Michael Cole made a a simple comment that he just basically said, every time Trish comes in the ring, you never know if it'll be her last. But with Goldberg and John Cena and stuff, I doubt that they're gonna announce that's a retirement match. She'll probably come back for something again, especially being in such great shape. I mean, she's still moving like as she did 15 years ago. So that's cool to see. Tiffy time. I'm so glad it's still Tiffy time. I wouldn't be upset if Tiffany Stratton didn't win the match, but I much rather would have had her come out with the belt still. Um, then we're going to go ahead and hit the audience shout outs again between the matches. So, Medusa or Lunger Blaze was in the audience. Crowd definitely cheers. Lalani Kai. Um, the crowd definitely cheers for her. She's been very active on social media and with the WWE universe since she had come back in with the Legends deal. So everyone's happy to see her, and she's actually very happy to see everybody. So it's pretty heartwarming when she comes around because she seems like one of those legends that appreciates it more than anybody else. And then Metro Boomin and Little Yachty are there, or Lil Yachty. My apologies. Um, and also, I don't have this written down anywhere, but I saw later on social media that Two Chains was there in the audience. So I don't have that in my notes because I must have missed the Two Chains part. Um, so yeah, so shout out to the celebrities in the audience, and then that's when we get Jade and Naomi with the special guest referee, um, Bianca Belair. Sorry, I forgot to scroll. Um, and so I was curious to see Bianca's take on the ref outfit, just because all the superstars they have their own take on the referee outfit, So when Bianca came out, I was wondering what it was going to be. She was wearing like one of the referee pullover jackets, and then she just had a regular referee shirt. But she had these long socks that on the very top had like a referee stripe around the near the rim of it, and I thought that actually the socks, boom, it sealed the deal on that outfit right there. So you didn't, and because she always comes out in such like cool gear, it was actually nice to see her just go as a standard referee, just because in a good way too. Like I've never really watched a special guest referee match where the special guest referee was actually like, you know, um I'm looking for the word here, but she did the job as the referee should do the job. Like she really got into it and she didn't play. You could tell that she had emotions during the match, but the emotions kind of didn't affect how she officiated the match. So all props in the world for Bianca's addition into this match. This match was already going to be awesome and everyone knew it, and her inclusion was just to make it even more big than it already was going to be. So, um, let's see. So it starts off hot on the outside. Jade has full advantage at first. Within the first 2 minutes, Jade goes for a table from under the ring. Of course, the crowd goes crazy. We love tables. They say Naomi has razor blades all over her outfit, and upon closer inspection, it actually kind of looks like razor blades, like the ones that go into the old school razor. I doubt that they're real. The way that they were playing it up was that it was, but when I looked more at it, and they went for a move that if those were real razor blades, I'm sure Jade could have got a few cuts. But I'm not, you know, an analyst or anything. I'm just talking about stuff here. Um, so, well, either way, it was a good design. I really like her ring gear. Jade, I really liked her ring gear because when she came out, it looked like it was all white, but then when she started stepping closer, the color changed to purple just from the reflections or whatever. Um, the ring gear on like everybody was amazing tonight. Everybody, I didn't really mention it for the last one, so I'll go back and say it was kind of like almost, let's say the devil and the angel. Trish Stratus with the all white and then all red on the Tiffany Stratton. But it's hard to say the devil with Tiffany Stratton because obviously it's hard for her to be bad because everybody likes her so darn much. Um, so where did I even leave off? Oh yeah, ring gear. I was talking about the razors. All right, and yeah, they're probably not real, but it was an awesome design. There was a monitor in front of the announce desk because they've been doing that lately. Jade was down near there after an attack by Naomi, and Naomi drop kicked her into it, which busted the TV. A little smoke came out of the table. It was, I mean, I thought it was cool. It was a nice little visual. Jade sold it really well. From then on, a couple other they just kept the sequence going. It was a very physical match, and then finally, Jade was end up putting through a table, and the crowd cheered like no matter what. Somebody goes through a table, we're happy. It doesn't matter who goes through the table. I mean, it's Bubba uh put May Young through a table. That got a cheer too. Um, so Jade ended up putting Naomi through a table with her finisher Jaded from the top rope. That was also a really really cool visual. Um, and man, what do I got to say about that match? Um, that's why I don't give ratings for matches or anything because I like to just say that I just really enjoy them. I really really enjoyed this match, and I'm not doing ratings on this one because I just want to say that I enjoy it. Um, and that's really, all I can say is I'll say it 10 more times. But I won't just as a joke. I'm saying that I would. All right, so then we hit on into the battle royale that is going to culminate in a championship match in Paris. Um, so the entrances come out as so. So Nikki Bella comes out, then Chelsea Green with the Hervis. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, which would be Piper Niven and Alba Fire. Then Natalia came out, which I love Natalia. I'm not going to act like I'm upset, but I will say that I was hoping that we would get Natty in the all black and the athletic gear. And then Maxine Dupree came out to walk to the ring with Natalia. Then Jada Parker makes her entrance, and it looks like Jada Parker has absolutely, um, I don't want to say overshadowed. I'm not really sure what the term that I'm looking for is, but she has grown past her popularity in NXT to the point now that even on a PLE show, the crowd is chanting Miss Parker on her entrance. So it's definitely not just an NXT thing now. She's solidified as a superstar now. No matter where she's at, Miss Parker is going to get that chant when she comes out. Then comes out Lash Legend to a humongous pop. People really like Lash Legend. Um, Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to say I don't. Then we get Lola Vice coming out. Zelina Vega comes out in all black. She actually kind of has a boo boo face, um, which makes me think that it's not going to go well for her. I actually, because the way Zelina Vega is, I you could almost see that she, when it comes to who are we going to have win this match, she would probably be one of the top four picks, right? Fair enough for me to say, I believe, as if I know what the heck I'm talking about. Then Kalani Jordan makes her entrance. Then Tatum Paxley makes her entrance. And she came out to the calling theme. And that just made me realize I'm working too much. I'm missing too much NXT because the last time I watched NXT, it was just teasing that Izzy Dame, or I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, was was like getting her to join, but she wasn't in yet. I think I've missed 2 episodes of NXT. I know I'm behind right now. And then Izzy Dame comes out, one of my favorite NXT superstars. Um, just her with the calling, it just really solidifies her. It's just, I don't know, she kind of reminds me of what I want to say, maybe Shayna Baszler is kind of who she reminds me of in kind of a way. Um, And then BFAB comes out. Of course, everyone loves BFAB. And then, of course, Meechin comes out with her god awful theme song. I am a fan of Meechin. Don't get me wrong. I just don't like the theme. Um, then Ivy Nile comes out. I'm really, really holding my hat, hoping that Ivy Nile really gets something meaningful here in the WWE sometime soon. Being in the Alpha Academy, it's assuming you're in an academy. It's almost like Chase U. You know what I'm saying? To where they're in a school, they're learning. So she needs to pass the test. She needs to get a title. It doesn't matter which one for me. I want her to win something. Then Candice LeRae comes out. We already know how I feel about her. Watch the previous episode. Nia Jax. I actually have been a fan of Nia Jax for a super, super long time. So, yeah, I can't say anything more about that. And then Stephanie Vicaire comes out. Stephanie Vicaire is one of the fan favorites, universe favorites, one of my favorites as well. I didn't know much about her before she came to the WWE. I did see a couple matches that she had in other promotions, but either way, awesome to see her. And then Julia too, man. Julia's got the championship, dude. So when she comes in there, everybody's kind of looking at her like, "Oh yeah, girl, like we're coming for you, Hulk Hogan." Just kidding. So uh, so this is how it starts. So this is the first thing that I have written down before the match even starts is I love Chelsea Green. She's such a good wrestler and a great personality. She's standing in the corner behind the Hervis, the secret Hervis. I'm sorry, that's where I'm messing up here. Um, she's standing behind him and she's like pointing at them. You know what I mean? Like these two are gonna save me. And I was just like, man, even in a ring with 20 people in it, you could still see Chelsea Green, and she's still got just amazing personality. Um, Tatum Paxley was immediately eliminated by Nia Jax and then eliminated Dame. Um, so, with everything I said during the entrances, I have written down here in quotations, sad face, was hoping to see Izzy late in the match. Um, Nia then knocked Kalani Jordan onto the eliminated Tatum and Izzy and ended up making it to the announce table without being eliminated. Uh, she stayed on the announce table for a while the announcers hyped up, oh, you can still make it back to the ring. This is why you got to watch a lot of Kofi Kingston Royal Rumbles because, this is going to help you for when you're in a battle royal match. They were really hyping it up. And during all that, we've got everything going on in the ring, but then finally we come back. Um, and Kalani Jordan, she crawled upside down and then put her feet inside the ring onto the rope and then lifted herself up like she was doing a sit up and got herself back in the ring. And the crowd absolutely cheered for that display of athleticism. is what I'll call that. Is what I did call that. Um, So Julie and Vicaire, they tease a truce, and then they go into a punch exchange, which then turns into a headbutt exchange. And all while this is going on, the crowd is chanting Nikki Bella. So that was kind of funny to see that. Vicaire went for the devil's kiss on Nikki Bella, and Chelsea Green interrupted it. The crowd actually booed that. As much as they want Nikki Bella, they want to see the devil's kiss. Um, and I love that every time that the Devil's Kiss gets gone for, that Booker T gets mentioned on commentary. Um, because the Devil's Kiss is, of course, we all know what it is, but that would really hurt, if we are just talking, if we're going to talk strictly, if you wrapped your knees around somebody's head and started smashing, I mean, you would really hurt your knees too, but you would do a lot of damage to their head as well. And you'd have the upper hand unless they were that much stronger than you and could power up. But either way, if we're not going to go on that point, Booker T going wild on the commentary every time she did that in NXT, now the crowd, gets wild too, so like, it's kind of a thing of its own, the Devil's Kiss, and yeah, so they were upset when Chelsea Green interrupted it, even if it was on Nikki Bella. We go into more sequences. Alba and Chelsea Green end up being on the ground. Maxine does a double worm onto them. She then has Natalia do it. Um, Let's see. So she has Natalia do the worm. Natalia doesn't do it great. And then Wade Barrett says, "Come on, Natalia, what are you doing? You're a technician, So, I mean, if that's the worst thing that we've ever seen Natalia do is the backwards worm, then I mean, the Hall of Famer, you can't y- y- I wouldn't be able to do it. No, that's really hard to do the backwards worm. I'll say that. I knew a friend who could do that. And yeah, that it's amazing how hard that is actually to do. Let's see. She does it, and then as Natalia is trying to eliminate someone else right after doing that, I forgot who she was going for the elimination for, but then she's eliminated by Jada Parker. And then after that, Maxine tries to avenge Natalia and ends up being eliminated by Jada. Um, and then Jada eliminates Candice LeRae, and after that, Michael calls her Candice Michelle. Uh, and Wade Barrett starts giving him a bunch of grief about it. Jade Parker is then eliminated by Meechin and VFab. Nia Jax eliminates Kalani Jordan with assistance from Candice on the outside. So basically, Nia Jax got her to the ropes. Candice took her down. Zelina eliminated Julia after a battle on the ropes. She gave her, I believe, she gave her finisher to Julia on the ropes. I'm not 100% sure now, thinking about it. I didn't write it down and I didn't watch it. I watched it last night. I can't remember. Then Piper Niven eliminated B-Fab, and then Meechin is eliminated by Chelsea Green and was almost taken out by Meechin, pulling her, trying to pull her out of the ring. But Alba Fire then jumped through the middle rope to save Chelsea. In my notes, I put that she eliminated herself, but then I realized she actually didn't. She jumped through the middle ropes. It confused me when I watched it last night, but I get it now. Um, all right, so Lash Legend ended up throwing Selena Vega over the ropes. Lola Vice was eliminated by Piper Niven, and then Piper Niven was eliminated by Stephanie Vicaire and Nikki Bella. Vicaire hits the Devil's Kiss on Chelsea Green, and the crowd is going absolutely wild. Of course they did. Then Nikki Bella eliminates Chelsea Green. That made me unhappy because that's who I wanted to win the match. Um, and then Lash Legend ended up eliminating Nikki Bella, which to me I feel like is good riddance. Lash, why didn't you do that in the first 20 seconds of the match? Um, and then Nia Jax ended up eliminating Lash Legend. But Lash Legend actually went for like she was gonna eliminate Nia Jax, and Nia Jax did play the role like, you know what, she's about to eliminate me. Um, Props to Lash Legend. Man, I heard somebody on commentary say WNBA standout, and that just I need to learn more about her. Like, well, she's tall. She probably did play some basketball. But I need to look more into her lore, I guess you would call it, and see who if she actually did play, because I'd like to see some highlights of her, you know. And then Vicaire um, was the only people left um, after that. So Lash Legend and Stephanie Vicaire, and then the crowd just starts cheering super, super loud. Um, because they were happy, you know. It seemed like the either they were cheering because they thought Vicaire was going to win, or they were cheering because they were happy that there was a chance that either of them could. Um, so let's see. Yeah, and then Lash Legend ended up hitting a hard kick on Stephanie Vicaire right to the head, and then the audience completely deflated. So I think that's actually what the consensus on the loud cheer when those two were left. I think that's what that was, because as soon as she hit that kick, the audience just died. Um, then they struggled to the ring apron, and Vicaire hits the Devil's Kiss on the apron and then throws Lash Legend off, and Vicaire wins, and the audience goes wild. Stephanie McMahon's in the ring, and she asked what the significance of the win was to her, but she asked it in Spanish, and then Stephanie Vicaire tells about how much it means to her, and you can tell Stephanie McMahon's actually like holding back tears this entire time. She's trying not to cry. Um, and then I found this meme on social media this morning, so you will see it now. I That made me laugh because that is exactly what Stephanie McMahon said. She said she spoke it in Spanish, and she did speak it well, actually. So props to Steph. Um, let's see. And back to my notes. So now we're going to hit Rhea Ripley versus Io Sky. Um, and this match, I actually have a little note that says fatigue has set in. This is the third time I've tried to watch this. Not due to entertainment purposes, but because work keeps coming up and I keep having to pause it and work. Um, And then so what I did was I ended up taking a break and I got something to eat and drink real quick, and I got back into it because I was excited to see this match. I really wanted to um, see Io Sky win again. I don't know what it is, but I love the storyline that Rhea Ripley has never beaten Io Sky, and I love that they can continue it again. Um, because yeah, I think that that would be a great pantheon like that. That is a feud that you could keep for 10 to 15 more years and and blow it off in 15 years, you know. Um because Rhea probably doesn't, you know. I mean, obviously Rhea Ripley and Io Sky are both just so happy to be in the positions they're in, and that they're have you know, they're living out their dreams, you know. Um so I doubt either of them care about that storyline. Oh, you've never beat me. But if they, if the powers that be, let's say, if we can really hone in on that, you know what I'm saying, and drag that out for years and years and just keep having Io Sky win, it would really be a crazy reaction when Rhea finally does win. And that would be fine because you don't have to be the most Rhea Ripley can beat everybody else and not beat Io Sky, but Io Sky can lose to other people. And you know what I mean? Like, but you could keep it that way. Um, and yeah, before the match even starts, I'm already yakking on and on about it. So, Alicia Taylor, this is one of my notes. Alicia Taylor is announcing the hell out of tonight, I may add. I put that in because Alicia Taylor was just killing it doing announcing tonight. I couldn't really say more than that. You know what I mean? Like, she did a really great job. She's been growing on me a lot lately. Well, not even lately. I'd say like the past like year or so. Like, I've really enjoyed her announcing it. First, I really didn't like it. Um, And I will say she was kind of garnering unfair. I don't know. I was kind of judging her a little bit more just based on the crazier her hair was, the less I liked seeing her, I guess. But no, she's a great announcer, so I've just completely put that whole hair thing behind because I realized I was like judging her based on that, but it wasn't really about her hair being crazy. It was more about watching AEW referees trying to steal the show and be the one in the ring that gets all the attention. So when I was kind of assuming the same about Alicia Taylor, but it's actually that was just all just unfair to her. She's a great announcer and she can do her hair however she wants, and it won't take away from anything in the show. Um, Yeah, so Io Sky at the beginning of this match, when Alicia Taylor was doing the announcer saying, when, who's facing who, how much they weigh and all that stuff. Um, Io Sky made a facial expression that made me think she will lose the match. I In my notes it says I really hope she wins the match. I'm a huge fan of Rhea, but I really like Io having the belt. Uh, so they went through just a regular wrestling sequence, and then Rhea went for a snapmare, but Io ended up landing on her feet, and she did the pointing to her head thing that she does, and taunted her and stuff. Uh, I put the crowd really liked it a lot. They cheered for the head pointing thing. They love that thing, and I said so do I. It adds personality. Rhea did the same thing to her later. She tossed her into the turnbuckle, and then Rhea came up to give a defensive thing. And when Io put her hands in front of her face to guard her from the move, Rhea stopped, stood back, and then did the pointing head thing at her. The crowd really liked that a lot. Um, the crowd was just really into this PLE as a whole. I mean, even I was. I mean, I get bored at some point in watching these PLEs, and even watching some of the longer shows too. Like I gotta go take me a little break or something. But no, this one, like I was in it. If it wasn't for work, I would have watched this straight through. I probably would have just sat and watched it. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to, and I had to avoid news and social media like crazy just to not be spoiled with this. And I'm glad because we'll get to why I'm glad. Um, so let's see, da da da. It adds personality. All right, so Rhea did the same thing. And then they just basically went back and forth, hard moves. This is a very physical match. Io Sky hit a Poison Rana. Again, that move's amazing. Everyone loves a Poison Rana. They go into another sequence, and then Rhea finally to end that little sequence. I guess I'm not really sure. When I say a sequence, I mean that they're doing wrestling moves, they're selling, um, I was so tuned into it, I wasn't typing in my notes what was happening. I was just kind of making little notes about what happened in the match. I'm not really sure what the best format for entertainment value is, because I'm still working all this out being the podcast. But, I try and give the entertaining points of the match so you know what happened, but I don't really want to, like, I'm not typing the full match out. If that makes sense. So when I say a sequence, I mean that they're doing things that you would imagine in a regular match. But I was enjoying it, so I didn't type everything down. Basically, is the thing. But be sure to leave a like, a comment, subscribe. If you feel like there's more that I could expand on in matches, I'd be more than happy to. If there's things that I'm expanding on too much, I'd be willing to cut that out too. Um, so after that sequence, we end up going to Rhea hitting a Razor's Edge and then to a Riptide. And Io ended up kicking out of that. Um, and Rhea Ripley was just shocked and amazed. Like, how are you going to kick out of both of those? Jessica Carr ended up, they go through other sequences. Ref bump ends up happening. She gets knocked out of the ring. Rhea goes for another pin. It gets count to 9. Rhea is super mad. She goes all out on an all out assault. Um, and it goes just outside of the ring. They're fighting through the crowd area, and then it ends up to a point where Io goes for a crossbody off of a TV box that's stacked on top of another TV box. This had to be a good 20 feet or higher, and hits Rhea with a crossbody, and that was just insane. That did get a holy S word chant. Um, I put that, and then she is dragging Rhea Ripley around the arena now because after that, what are you gonna do? Jessica Carr is still out. At the moment during this, and then Io Sky does like this head stomp on the stairs on the aisle in between the crowd seats, and then they just battle back to the announce table. Rhea takes an over the moonsault, and Jessica Carr recovers and counts to two when Rhea kicks out. The crowd's chanting for Rhea. After a struggle at the ropes, Rhea hits Io Sky with a Spanish fly off the top rope. Now, not only is Rhea Ripley did a Spanish fly. Like that's crazy off the top rope. Like that is crazy. You don't usually see that in a women's match. I mean, it's not unheard of or anything, but I just didn't expect to see it. It caught me off guard. And that was crazy. And then the theme song of Naomi hits and she enters and she cashes it in. There's no BS about holding the briefcase, walking away from the refs, doing any of this. No, she walked over, she uh cashed it in, and as soon as she cashed it in, she grabbed the briefcase right again and then went in there and hit somebody with the contract, throws Rhea out, and immediately wins. And in my notes, I put, wow, I actually haven't been this surprised watching wrestling in a while. And I was legit this happened. And I'm hella happy to see Naomi cash in and be the women's champion. She came out with a bloody nose, and that was perfect for her character. I can't wait to see if she turns the belt into a caution tape type of belt. The crowd went absolutely wild for this one. They were stoked for the win, and the pyro they had for her in celebration. I was very happy for her. It felt like not only did they do this because it was going to be a weird reaction to this match and continue the story that Io Sky has never been beaten by Rhea Ripley, but what's it called? I think it's because Naomi's getting her flowers. You know what I mean? Like they're like, yeah, Naomi, you've been here for so long, you've done so much, you've helped out so much. It's your time to take the championship again and put your face out there and in a new character. You know. And yeah, the thing is, like when you watch, if you do watch the post show, I don't even want to say it's a new character. I would rather say that it is her, not even a new persona, it's what she has been turned into by the WWE, the WWE universe, the WWE roster. Um yeah, the way she you know, I don't like to say turn heel, you know what I mean? Like I'm not a wrestler. But you know what I mean? Like everybody knows what I mean. She's quote unquote bad now, but at the same time, like she's not bad because she's a bad person or anything. She's bad because she's done good for so long and it got her nothing, and now it's her time to get what's hers, and that's yeah, that's completely justified. It was almost it's yeah, I mean I want to call her Stone Cold Trinity Fatu at this point. Come out with the vest, yeah, and I was very happy for her. It was an awesome PLE. I liked it much better than Saturday night's main event. When Naomi exits, Io and Rhea are crying in the middle of the ring, and then they hug, and then they exit together. So that was the end of an awesome PLE. I will say I went into this PLE with very low expectations. And I did come in with very low expectations because I didn't really enjoy the first Evolution so much, but this one, every match was completely awesome. It had a level of drama and athleticism and emotion and story. Everything made sense. It made sense front to back. Um, so yeah, that's really all I got to say about WWE Evolution 2025. It was amazing. Hats off to everybody who participated in this, the from the people who set up the ring to the superstars to the producers and cameramen, everybody. Yeah, it was great. I hope that everyone enjoyed Evolution as much as I enjoyed Evolution. Oh, and thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, leave a comment, all that good stuff. Still working out on formats, still working out on audio quality, video quality, trying to figure out what I actually can put as far as WWE when I review these, other than just having the website in the background. I would like to show clips. I'm not sure um how that would affect me, just because I'm a small channel. I'm not like, there's no monetization or anything here. It's just I'm making videos hoping people watch them. And my co-host, I love talking wrestling with him. And I just got a text message that he is here, so thank you. And we will now see you soon, part 2 of our SmackDown roster review.